So, good morning, gentlemen. I just want to tell you what an absolute pleasure it is to meet and talk with you this morning. And kind of to let everybody know, I've had the unique opportunity to meet with Nick and John. And what I've come to discover when I ride with a lot of companies, when I interact with a lot of companies, is there's kind of a lack of understanding, and we drive our businesses with a rear view mirror. And I know that's a very simple analogy, but I watch too many companies where they actually they're looking at what they did last month, last quarter, last year, and they're trying to drive their business. And Nick has created a key performance indicators, KPIs, but I'm a visual person. I like to see things out in front of me. And Nick made these amazing dashboards where you can actually sit down and see what's driving your business, where you're getting results at, and most importantly, how to link it with other software that you already are paying for, like Dodge reports, to help increase not the past, but the future. Nick, do you want to talk on that?
Absolutely. Elliot, thank you. But give them a GPS to help them navigate where they're going in their data and help them more as they talk to customers. Many salespersons talk to VIP customers and build relationships, and equip them with the data to do value-added selling. So we built Biltdata to provide summarized information to folks in the field so they can take care of customers better.
And I know that you're a big one of promoting the Pareto principle or the 20/80 rule and really explaining what data, what key customers drive the bulk of your business. Do you want to speak on that?
Sure. It was very early in my career in rental where it was a multi-billion startup that actually failed. It went bankrupt. And it was interesting, had done 50 plus acquisitions, and it was 15 customers per store that did 60% of the business. We created simple dashboards where a salesperson can view their best customers, their next best customers. It is tied around the 80/20 rule.
Where have you found the biggest impact or the biggest benefit to a lot of the customers that are signing on to use this type of data and dashboard to help them navigate the market?
That's a great question. And I actually might turn that back around on you. So far, from what I hear from the sales guys, like Nick said, the tip of the spear are things like, where has this been all my life? Now I don't have to wonder about what I'm going to do Monday morning. I don't have to think so hard or work so hard to strategize what I'm going to do this week or maybe even this month. So one of the questions, I know you're a sales ninja, Elliot. How important is it to have a data-driven sales strategy to drive not only your yearly goal, but your day-to-day planning and execution?
And that's a nice turnaround. I think one of the biggest things that I've seen, Peter Drucker always says that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And the biggest thing that I noticed with these dashboards is that it creates a culture of strategy, which I think is kind of funny, but it sits there and it says, look, if you have the daily habits, the daily recognition of the challenges we're facing as a business, you're more likely to make the micro changes in your daily business that drive the ultimate results. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me how many sales organizations, the reps don't know what the utilization should be. They don't know what fleet they have. And I think it's a great analogy when you see these dashboards of kind of what's the overall feeling of my business right now? And then more importantly, what's my navigation? We're all using GPS. How do we drive to the numbers that we're really looking for?
But in business, the associations like the AGC, the ABC, NUCA, the most prominent, successful, enduring companies generally are very active in their community. And there's a small group of them. So what does it take to really serve them and give them uptime, total cost of ownership, keep their job sites working properly? And if you smother with them attention and acquire them as a client, they become those VIP customers. They become those best customers. That's the 10% that will do 70% of a salesperson's business. And they rent a whole basket of goods. Every salesperson knows that. So oftentimes the biggest opportunity is to grow your business there And that's why we created that GPS, that simple dashboard where you can watch those best customers and those next best customers who would do 80% of your business.
Well, it's not just it's a behavioral tool and a tool to provide confidence. I mean, it's a planning tool. It's something that you can learn and grow.
A lot of times they get to the end of the month and then they measure whether or not they won or lost. And something as simple as call off tickets, pickup tickets, down short, every one of these can affect the end of the month numbers. And I think that rather than wait till the end of the month and then you're racing to try and hit your numbers, you can really see where you're at throughout the entire month. And then I think for the C-suite or the executive level or the people who are writing POs and buying equipment, they can quickly and easily look over all of their data. You know what I mean? I was just out at a major conference and everybody's buying equipment. Wouldn't it be great if you could pull up all of your data for the last year and review that data to help you make buying decisions on not only what your sales reps are doing, but what the market's doing, and more importantly, what your customer base is doing. So I think that the executive level and the ownership can really use this type of tool to plan and organize what the overall view is, not just what the numbers are. You know what I mean? If you say I had a $10 million year or a $20 million year, that's awesome. How did you have it? And what do you need to do to enhance it? Rather than just, it was a good year or a bad year, what drove those numbers and how do I get more of them?
That's certainly what we aim to do every day, which is you can see your best customers, you can track them, and we've made it very easy. You brought it up to clone customers. So you say, what are the find me more plumbers or more AGC members who look like just like this person. And we serve those up to those folks.
Is that the number one thing you can do is don't drive your business blind. Is go out, look at everything that affects your business and affects the bottom line. Right now, more than ever, equipment costs are up. Utilization is still high, but it could be better. Many companies are overfleeted. Interest rates are higher, and the U.S. economy is on an absolute tear. If you're not managing your business properly, you could be leaving a lot of money on the table, not because that you don't know how to run your business, but you're missing those micro moments, those little things on the dashboard.
Elliot, question. Do you mind if I show you some of the dashboards and ask you?
Yeah, take a quick look at it.
And ask you what you see when you look at it. Okay.
Perfect.
So I'm going to share my screen. And I filtered this. This is a fictional salesperson. He does 6 million of total revenue. This is principally a dealership business. He does a very little amount of rental revenue. And as we look at his customers, he's got 472 customers. This is how they lay out. So I would just ask you, how would you look at this data?
So I think it's two things. I think it's one, who's giving us the business and bring it to attention and take care of it. And then the second part of that is the type of companies we do well with and how do we hunt down and look for more of those types of customers. So I would really sit there and say, look, we're going to do an engagement campaign and we're going to look at how do we better suit ourselves to match up with our customers' needs.
A lot of folks are sitting on a fair amount of fleet. And what do you do when you're overfleeted? Get to that information quicker. So you could say, I've got track skid steers. I want to rent them to people in lawn and garden segment, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and click there. All of this information down below filters so Clemente can quickly get to that information. And at his fingertips, he's got that customer history and can access their first name, their phone number, any key information that tells them how to take action.
Where I think key things like this is it brings it to attention and it creates that thing where they say, look, we've got skid steers, landscapers use it. Here's a list of landscapers. And now it's driving their attention because it's someplace that they're familiar. And as John said, someplace that they're confident to play. The problem is many of us have incredible habits that we fall back on in our daily lives. And we don't bring to attention what actually drives our business. We go to where we're familiar, not with what gets us results.
We created Leader, and Leader was based on how do you get to how do you make reports actionable? So management gets reports, and their market share reports might look like this. And we're looking through the end of 2024. That's why you see the data drop. And if you're a salesperson, and you say, well, here's our market share report. What do we do about it? We have deer up here and cat down here. How do we act on it? So if we wanted to filter this for a specific salesperson, I'm just going to choose this person. The data is going to filter. So the salesperson is the CEO of their territory, and they can say, well, in this, cat's up and coming. Let's see who these folks are that purchase cat. You can go on and click on this and get to the data. Why did we do this? We did it so you could make the information specific enough for the person in the field to take action. You could see you've got some Komatsu units from 2022. And if you wanted to earn their business, maybe you go service those machines. Any thoughts there, Elia?
Absolutely. I'm going to go back to the original. The biggest thing with this is we can get into all the minutia of the data, but I think that the key thing that everybody needs to know is that it drives the habits. It lets you see what is creating the results, and it brings it to your attention. And I think that, too often in our business, we just don't know what happened. That we've all heard that famous adage where it says there's three types of people: the people who make things happen, the people who let things happen, and the people say, what the heck happened? And I think, unfortunately, in the rental industry, we have a lot of people in the latter group of saying, what happened? A job site ends, a competitor comes into our market, and we just don't have a full understanding of what is actually driving our numbers. I think it is an absolutely brilliant thing to make sure that our business owners, our sales reps, the entire company, the industry understands what's creating the results and how to do more of what gets us what we want, which is ultimately, I think, too many businesses right now, they're in reaction mode rather than in drive mode.